taking things that aren't maybe going perfectly and seeing them as a learning opportunity is really, really important for me. And reaching out, if I need support, I reach out, and I have a wonderful community that I can lean on.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good afternoon, Alyson Garrido. Previously, episode 182 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. It's been just 3 years, 2 months, 1 day, 2 hours and 45 minutes since we last had that recorded conversation.
It's just a matter of having the courage to ask. And helping people help you is a big deal too, right? So you have to give people the direction to know where you need help. So that's really helpful too, to know what you need and what you want.
That was then. This is now. How are you doing today, Alyson?
I'm wonderful, Angel. Thank you so much for having me. So what is my episode today?
2614. That's your episode number.
Wow. Congratulations. Yeah. What an accomplishment for doing all of these.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Now, you do have your podcast as well, right? What's the update? Like, what's going on? Please, it's been 3 years. Does it even feel like it's been 3 years, though, for you?
Well, I'll tell you why it feels like it's been 3 years, because last time I talked to you, I was living in Los Angeles. And now, while I'm talking to you from visiting my parents in Florida, I actually now live in New Zealand.
Wow. So we're on the same time zones, plus or minus 1 hour.
Yes, right now.
New Zealand, that's a big jump. What caused that?
My husband ended up accepting a job there, and I really wasn't sure what that would mean for my business. So I kept saying that I would hold it loosely and just see what happened, because I knew that I had wonderful clients all over the States and really all over the world, but mostly in the States. And so I thought, okay, well, I can keep working with people in the States and live in New Zealand, or maybe I'll start working with people in New Zealand too. And so I spent 3 months just having lots and lots of coffees and meeting people and getting to know what life was like in New Zealand and how job search might be different and how everything might be different. And I ended up really, we've settled in so well. I am working quite a bit in New Zealand. I'm actually pretty much 50-50 between working with people in New Zealand and working with people globally at the moment. So that's just been a real treat to be able to expand my business in that way.
That's amazing. I can imagine what goes on with moving back and forth time zones, right? Nevertheless, you've adjusted. Now, it's career coaching, right? Have you stuck to that?
Yes, I'm still career coaching, and I'm also now training coaches and other people on some systemic principles. So I'm working with people in my private practice around career coaching. So that's job search and career advancement, becoming leaders. And then I launched the Systemic Coach Academy of New Zealand in April. And through that organization, we're teaching leaders and coaches how to really look at how systems impact them and how they impact systems. So when we go through life, you and I are a system here on this call, and I'm also a part of the system of all the different people who've been on the podcast. It's very evident right now, my family system, who I've been spending a lot of time with, but all of those systems have a little bit of an impact on our behavior. And so what we're doing, my business partner, Kathy, and I, is really helping people tap into that and seeing how our systems impact our behaviors. It's been awesome.
How has what you've been doing impacted your husband? Yes, he's changed careers and location as a result, but from the perspective of seeing that you're staying true to the thing you decided you would do, how has that impacted him?
Oh, it's been really wonderful. This move has served us both so well, both personally and professionally. LA, while we enjoyed it, it never quite felt like the right fit. We were missing a real kind of tight-knit community, which is hard because LA is so spread out. So us having moved to Wellington, New Zealand, it's really, really a tight-knit community. So it's scratched an itch for both of us. And his career is going really well too. And then personally, we're feeling great. So it's been a wonderful transition.
Networking was definitely something I would put as your strong point, right? Like that was your strength, getting out there and being in New Zealand and having these coffees. How much did that previous networking skill help you with what you're doing now?
Well, I think it absolutely helped. I wrote an article about it about 6 months in. So I'll share that with you so you can put it up with the notes of this podcast. But really, for me, the networking piece was important. But for me, it was really about the curiosity and knowing that I didn't know what I didn't know what I didn't know even.
Hmm.
So I think it's really easy to go to a new place and think, oh, they speak the same language. This is probably going to be just like where I came from. But I was really, really conscious that I was moving to a new country and needed to really, really learn a lot. So the people that I met with had become dear friends and colleagues, but they were just so generous with their time and information. It was wonderful.
I'm guessing there's a physical side to you because let's say there's the time zone transition and you seem to be a very happy person, right?
Generally, pretty good.
So how do you manage the physical side of what you do with your life?
Well, that's an interesting question. It's actually come up quite a bit during this visit with my parents because I am conscious of taking care of myself because if I don't take care of myself, I can't be the best coach and facilitator that I can be. But with this trip, my schedule's been thrown off a little bit. And I've just this week been going to the same gym that I go to when I'm in New Zealand. And I can't believe the difference in my mood. Just getting that energy out, having that team spirit of the gym that I go to. People are all kind of doing the same things at the same time. And it's also been a treat because my husband's been joining me. He doesn't usually in New Zealand, but since we've been here, he's come and, run around and jumped on boxes and lifted weights with me. So that for me has always been really important. In LA, I taught spin classes. So yeah, it was just always about getting that energy out and feeling fresh in that way.
The power of momentum. We spoke about that the last time we had our conversation. How are you using the value and the power of momentum today in your life?
Oh, wow. I love that question. For me, it's really making sure that I'm keeping in touch. I think it goes back to that networking piece, and people say, oh, you're a good networker and all that nice stuff. But for me, it's when I find great people, right? Like you, here we are on a call 3 years later. When I
Hmm.
find great people that I know I want to stay in touch with, I just don't let them go.
That's good.
I make sure I'm keeping in touch and giving them updates and saying hi. So I think that's the power of momentum for
I
me.
love that. Well, Mark Mawini was the guy that connected us, an
Hmm.
amazing guy. So I'm really
Yeah.
thankful for that. Now, your earliest childhood memory entailed your older brother dragging you across to middle school, right? And then you guys slid down the hill.
Yep.
And we spoke about how you are helping other individuals, and that has grown, right? Like you are really helping even more people, right? Helping coaches understand how to set up what they're doing, understanding the perspective of death and the possibility that that could happen today or tomorrow. How do you interact with that, Alyson?
I am really good. Again, I think it goes back to that outreach. Like I don't have anything that's kind of unsaid or unresolved. It's in my nature to kind of share with people and also put things out on the table. So that's something that's really important to me is I know that if anything happened to my friends or family at any moment, I wouldn't say, "Oh shoot, I wish we'd resolved that issue. I wish I'd said that thing." I think everyone that I know and love knows how much I know and love them, which is important to me.
Hmm, that's beautiful. You've always kept a positive outlook, it seems, over the last 3 years. I mean, from moving, changing careers, changing where you're living, right? Well, your husband changing his career, which means
Hmm.
you had to adapt to that as well.
Hmm.
But keeping a positive outlook, you ended by saying that, right? Like, everyone, please keep a positive outlook. How
Hmm.
challenging is that sometimes?
Oh, I mean, it's not Pollyanna, right? I don't think that everything's just perfect all the time, but I think it goes back to that growth mindset of not saying, "Oh, there's an obstacle. We're done here." But okay, so that happened. What did I learn, right? Reflecting and saying, "How would I handle that differently next time?" and then moving forward in that way. So really taking things that aren't maybe going perfectly and seeing them as a learning opportunity is really, really important for me. And reaching out, if I need support, I reach out and I talk to friends, and I have a wonderful community that I can lean on, which is important.
Sometimes in life, the things that we're interacting with, it's sometimes like a decade past, and then we realize, oh, that trial or that tribulation that I endured was for this. Having your background in HR, have you seen that be very fruitful in terms of the values that you learned in that industry at that point in time a couple of years ago?
Absolutely. I mean, everything, I can't say that I regret anything or anything hasn't gone well, because where I am right now is a really good place. And everything has set me up to do that. And I've had, going back to that systems work, I've been a part of many wonderful systems, and learned so much from those. And thinking back to amazing bosses that I've had, and not so amazing bosses, and amazing teams and not so amazing teams. Those were the things that really taught me the kind of professional I want to be. And that comes through every day.
That's beautiful. My friend, it's a great pleasure, I tell you, to touch back in 3 years. Now, some people change their career, some people change the course of what they want to do, but it is both motivational and inspirational to hear that you've stayed on the course, right? You've not given up. And I think as much as 3 years has so quickly passed by, well done. So thank you for all that you're doing. For those that are interested, though, in learning how you can help them with their career, where's the best place for them to go to?
Sure. My website is just my name. So it's www.alysongarrido.com. It's spelled ALYSONGARRIDO. And then I sent the link for the Systemic Coach Academy of New Zealand, that's the website too, systemiccoachacademynz.com.
Wonderful. Well, again, my friend, this was a great pleasure I treasure. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Just a big thank you to you, and right back at you. Keep up the great work with your podcast. It's been inspirational to follow your journey, Angel. And thanks for having me back.
Yeah, you're welcome. I appreciate you. Alyson Garrido, again, a great pleasure. Thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.